In today's video, I'll be sharing several of our family's favorite dinners. They are all very easy and require simple ingredients, minimal time and effort. I have never liked spaghetti and meatballs until I tried it baked. So this completely changed my mind. Let me know if you're a fan of spaghetti, but this is very, very easy. Just go ahead and brown up some pre-cooked meatballs. I'm going to be making my own in an upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. Then warm everything over a skillet with your pasta sauce. The difference with this, rather than just traditional spaghetti, is that you're going to layer this into a cast iron skillet with some mozzarella cheese sprinkled over top. Put this into an oven set at 375 for about 15 to 20 minutes, and the texture on this is just amazing. It's completely changed my mind about spaghetti. I love a simple yet hearty chili this time of year. Let's make this one with ground turkey. All you do is put your browned turkey into your crock pot. Then you're going to add just a little bit of olive oil. I did about half a tablespoon. It called for more, but I did less. Then you're going to do a big, I think this is either a 14 or 15 ounce jar of tomato sauce. And then you're going to do about 14 ounces of stewed tomatoes. I didn't do mine with the flavor because I didn't want mine to be too spicy. Then you're going to add a can of rinsed and drained black and kidney beans. Then some green chilies to taste. Then you're going to add a cup and a half of frozen corn. I always prefer the flavor of frozen to canned. Then you're going to add 1 cup of chicken broth, and I like to use like the full flavor, not the low sodium one. I don't think that one tastes as good. Then for seasonings, you're gonna add 2 tablespoons of chili powder. I only added 1 because again, I don't want it to be too spicy. Then you're gonna add a tablespoon and a half of ground cumin, and then only a half a teaspoon of paprika. This recipe called for fresh onion and fresh garlic, which I didn't have either of those, so I went ahead and just used powder. Then you're gonna set this on high for either 4 hours or low for 8. I like to serve this up with plain Greek yogurt instead of sour cream, just for some added protein and a little bit of shredded cheddar cheese. Chicken pot pie is one of my absolute favorite recipes. Here is a really easy rendition. You're just going to cut up about a cup of potato and some carrots, and then put those to boil on the stovetop. 3/4 cups of carrot, 1 cup of potato. Now we're going to make the sauce part of this recipe. Soften about a 1/4 cup of onions in a 1/2 cup of butter. Now we're going to add some salt, pepper, and thyme. I'm terrible with stuff like this. I don't even measure my salt and pepper. I just give it a little shake. Let's measure the thyme though. We need, well, it calls for 1 1/4 teaspoon salt. That's actually quite a bit. I didn't add that much. A 1/2 teaspoon pepper, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. We're gonna sprinkle a whole 1/2 cup of flour on top of this. So I've added the seasonings. We're gonna kind of just mix this around and then cook it for only about 1 minute. Now we're just gonna whisk in a 1.5 cups of chicken broth. After that's all combined, just add a cup of milk and stir that. Add your veggies, and then you don't have to stir this for very long to really thicken it because you have all that flour in there. My veggies have boiled for about 20 minutes. I also realized that I had added some celery to this recipe. Then you're going to add a 1.5 cups of shredded chicken and kind of just stir this around to meld it together. I am using store-bought pastry for this, but I also have a really lovely homemade recipe that I'll share with you soon. I love to put slits in the top of this and wash with egg. Bake this at 425 for about 30 to 40 minutes. You're also going to want to cover this with foil so that you don't over brown the crust, which is what I did. So you've got to be really careful. Also let this sit for about 10 minutes before serving. This next recipe is probably my favorite of all the ones I've shared with you today. This is a creamy broccoli, cheddar, and potato soup. It is incredibly easy to make. It has several ingredients, but a lot of them probably what you just have lying around. I will have all the exact measurements for this one in the description box below. But this one's easy because you're just going to take your celery and carrots, a few seasonings that are very simple, like onion and garlic and thyme, and just kind of soften those. Making a roux is a lot easier than it seems. It's just butter, milk, and flour. You heat this up and it just thickens up your soup. This one's going to use about 3 cups of chicken broth, and I love to throw a little extra bay leaves in my soups just because they are so flavorful and yummy. So this one is going to be easy. Once you have everything simmering, all your veggies, you're going to add your roux, and then at the very end, your cheddar cheese. You're not actually going to cook the cheese. You're just going to add it in after you take it off the burner. This one is so good. I love to serve this one with French bread. Next is a penne and ricotta crockpot meal. To get started on this crockpot dinner, I'm just going to put 15 ounces of ricotta cheese into a bowl, and then with this I'm going to mix 2 eggs and 1/3 cup of fresh basil. I like to buy mine in these little plants. I just think they're so yummy, and they are the freshest that way. I've tried to keep them alive for a couple of days so that I could keep using them, but I am terrible at keeping plants alive, so I just use this up really quickly the next night on a pizza. So let me know if you know how to keep these cute little plants alive from the store, because I think having fresh herbs around is amazing. Into a separate bowl, you're going to pour 2 25-ounce jars of pasta sauce and then about 15 ounces of tomato sauce, and you're just going to mix this up. We are going to layer this in the crock pot. It is so easy. I was able to put this together in about 10 minutes. The instructions on this recipe say to grease the bottom of the bowl, so I did that with some spray. Then I'm just going to put 2 1/3 cups of the pasta sauce on the bottom of the slow cooker. Then this recipe also calls for 1 pound of penne, and then you're just going to divide it up 3 separate times. So I'm going to put 1/3 of the penne on the top of the sauce. Then you're going to dot half of the ricotta mixture on top of the penne. So I didn't measure this one out, I just eyeballed it and it turned out really good. So just half. Then take 1 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese and put this on top. Then you can start layering this up. You're going to add another 2 1/3 cups of the pasta sauce. Add another 1/3 of the penne, and then on top of that, the rest of the ricotta. To finish, just add the last 1/3 of the penne and then the last of the sauce. This is not gonna look pretty when you put the lid on it. You're actually gonna add some cheese at the very end, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But after you've done this, go ahead and turn this on high for 2 hours and 15 minutes. This, I added a little bit of cheese too. I think a tip with cooking noodles in the crock pot is to make sure you have enough liquid. I've tried this before, not this exact recipe, but I've tried cooking noodles in the crock pot and they were dry, but this is not dry at all. All of these meals are really great for leftovers. I feel like the soup reheats and the chili reheat the absolute best. So that's why we only have 5 meals here. Let me know if you like videos like this. I would love to make more of them in the future. Thank you so much for being here today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.